Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I'm Damian Dreamlight, and today I will be talking about my favorite subject, Jesus Christ, the light of the world. John chapter 8, verse 12. Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. When you follow Jesus Christ, you have the light of life. When you follow Jesus Christ, you have light. Jesus is the light of the world. When you follow Jesus, you have light. And you have the light of life. But you don't want to follow Satan because he's the prince of darkness. Every time you sin, you follow Satan. And when you follow Satan, what do you have? Darkness. You don't want darkness, do you? No, you want light. You want light. When I was little, I liked to aggravate people, making people angry. It was this boy in my classroom. He didn't like to lose. He didn't like people to tease him when he lost. He didn't like being called a loser. So I would always call him a loser just to get him upset, to aggravate him. And it was funny watching him throw tantrums when I called him a loser. He would throw things, he would kick things and whatnot. And the more he got angry, the funnier it was to me. Just like it was this other boy in my class. I deliberately knocked down his crayons off his desk so he can get all stirred up. But for some reason, he didn't get stirred up. But if he did get stirred up, it would have been very funny to me. Because after all, I like making people angry. And as a Christian, you want to make people happy, not angry. You don't want to aggravate people. You want to make them happy. As a Christian, you should not want to give people a hard time, especially intentionally. You don't want to aggravate people. That's not what Christians do. Christians don't aggravate people. They make people happy. And as a Christian, you want to live love, peace, and happiness. You want to live out love, peace, and happiness. And you want it to show in your lifestyle. As a Christian, you want to make people happy, not angry. You don't want to aggravate people because when you aggravate people, you sin. And when you sin, who are you following? Satan. And when you follow Satan, what do you have? Darkness. Not light, darkness. And you don't want to follow the prince of darkness, which is Satan, because he's the prince of darkness. You don't want to follow Satan. Another kind of darkness is the second death. That's when you go to the lake of fire. Those who have the second death, they go to the lake of fire. You don't want to go there. Those who don't have the second death go to heaven. And you want to go to heaven, don't you? When you go to the lake of fire, it's a one-way ticket. The lake of fire, it goes on and on and on and on and on. It's a one-way ticket. And just when you think the lake of fire is going to stop, it doesn't. It doesn't stop. You don't get as much as a 1 second rest. You're there for an eternity, and you're there to be tormented. You're there for eternal torment. And in the lake of fire, you will have nothing but aggravation, because that's what the lake of fire is, aggravation. When you're in the lake of fire, you are guaranteed to have a hard time. You are guaranteed to have a hard time, because in the lake of fire, you never get out. You'll be conscious throughout eternity while you're burning in the lake of fire. You just burn and burn and burn and burn. Man, I don't want to think about the lake of fire. I don't want to think about the lake of fire, let alone endure it. Man, that's a horrible thing to think about. I plan on going to heaven. I plan on going to heaven, not the lake of fire. And at the end, Satan will be in the lake of fire too. And the lake of fire, in the lake of fire, the fire will aggravate him too. He will have a hard time too in the lake of fire, because he's the prince of darkness, and that's where the prince of darkness will go, in the lake of fire, where there's darkness. The lake of fire is darkness, and that's where Satan will go. That's where the prince of darkness will go. And for those who let Satan rule their lives, they will be in the lake of fire as well. In the lake of fire, there is no way out. You're there for an eternity. And that's why it's important to follow Jesus, the light of the world. And as you follow Jesus Christ, the light of the world, and having the light of life, then you follow that light all the way to heaven. You follow that light all the way to heaven. Because as you live with Jesus Christ in heaven, you also live with his Father, which is God. There are 12 foundations of heaven. Number 1, jasper. Number 2, sapphire. Number 3, chalcedony. Number 4, emerald. Number 5, sardonyx. Number 6, sardius. Number 7, chrysolite. Number 8, beryl. Number 9, topaz. Number 10, chrysoprase. Number 11, jacinth. And number 12, amethyst. And when you're in heaven, you have no darkness whatsoever. There's no need of the sun or the moon because God is your light. God rules heaven and he will be your light. And God will never leave you. It will never be darkness in heaven. And before I end, Demetrius McNeil and Brandon Burks, I'm sorry for the way I aggravated y'all. I was wrong. And I certainly don't feel like that today. Because Jesus Christ is in my life and I follow him. I can't wait to go to heaven. And each foundation has one pearl. And God will be ruling heaven. There will be no darkness there whatsoever, only light. And once you're in heaven, no man can pluck you out. And plus, you live with Jesus Christ in heaven forever. You live with him. The same light you followed on earth is the same light you will be living with forever and ever. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Have a blessed day. May God keep you. Love you.